I didn't get to make a proper post-game video. Was out on, vacation for the weekend. Went to an event out in NorCal, so I watched the entire Cowboys game on my phone and tablet today, and, man, oh man, Matt Eberflus, like I said in my post-game video that I made that was, like, 2 minutes long, he needs to be fired. I understand the Cowboys don't have the most talent personnel-wise on the defense, but to play this bad, yes, a lot of it does go back to the players are just not stepping up. A lot of the players are not doing their jobs, but the scheme sucks. And the title of this video is "The Dallas Cowboys Defense Has Kept Them from Having a Winning Record this season." And that's the truth. The Dallas Cowboys defense, if the Cowboys defense was even top 25, which is still terrible. That's still bottom 10 in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys, without a doubt in my mind, would be 4-2. The Dallas Cowboys, even if our defense was bottom 10, not even league average, bottom 10, we would be 4-2, and we would be right in the mix with Philadelphia. We would be right in the mix with the 49ers, Tampa Bay, those teams. If the Cowboys defense was even like top 22, top 25, that's it. That's still below average. If they were even just a below average defense, as long as they weren't like bottom of like the worst, as long as they weren't the worst, we'd be 4-2. Why do I say that? Well, the reason why we did not beat the Green Bay Packers just a couple weeks ago is because the defense couldn't get a stop. And the reason why we lost today to the Carolina Panthers is because the defense couldn't get a stop. They couldn't get a stop for nothing. The Cowboys could easily be 4-2, but because our defense is bottom of the worst in the NFL by far, here we sit at 2, 3, and 1. We should be 4-2, but instead, because our defense sucks, we're 2, 3, and 1. And you cannot argue otherwise. Our offense has played more than good enough to win almost every single game this season, except for the Bears game. That's the only game where the offense didn't show up. And I know a lot of people are going to say, what the heck was Brian Schottenheimer doing towards the end of the game with all those play calls? I get that. That was terrible play calling, and that is Dak Prescott's fault. That's Brian Schottenheimer's fault. But with that being said, with that being said, when your offense scores 27 points, you should win the game. The offense shouldn't have to score 30, 35, 40 points a game just for us to win. And the fact that that's been the case every game, because even the games where the defense has played better, not good, better, we still gave up 20 points. Even against the Jets last week, we still gave up 22 points. First game against Philly, we gave up 24 points. So the defense has been the biggest problem. Matt Eberflus needs to go. Anybody that's involved with anywhere on the defense needs to go because the only position on the defense you can argue has played okay this season has been the defensive tackles. Except for this game, they look like crap this game. Everybody on the defense looked like crap this game. But it's sad. I'm usually the one that's super critical of Dak, and I call Dak out when he doesn't play well. But Dak has played really good football the last 3 weeks. The guy has 10 touchdowns in the last 3 games. And he's played, honestly, very good football. He's checking out of plays. He's throwing the ball away. He's being smart, using his legs at times, things that we've asked Dak to do all season, since that's all I'm asking Dak to do. And he's been doing that. He's been doing a very good job this season. George Pickens, legit. But this defense, man, the Cowboys are going to have a hard time winning football games with this defense. Like I said, the Cowboys right now, Fan Nation, should be 4-2. We should be right there with the Eagles. We should be right there with the 49ers, Tampa Bay, the Detroit Lions. We should be with all those teams. And people will say that's delusional, Dallas fan. No, it's not. If the defense was even a top 25 defense, which is not that much better than what we're at now, the Cowboys would be 4-2 because we would have beaten Green Bay, we would have beaten them, and we would have beaten Carolina today if the defense wasn't the worst. It would we would. We would be right there in the mix with everybody else. Gonna read some of these comments. What's up, Hoodlum? John Gwaine Causey, what's up? Tough loss. We should have gotten this win. Yes, we should have also gotten the Green Bay game, but we tied because of the defense. They need to fire Dallas Cowboys or Cowboys defensive coach. Yes, I know. I know nothing about football. I'm here. Don't know. You have to ask yourself that. We really should be undefeated, bro. We honestly should have beat Philly. Yeah, Hoodlum. Honestly, if you and Hoodlum makes a good point. If we didn't screw up, if we didn't screw up that fumble the first game with Miles Sanders, we would have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. We could be 5-1 right now, Hoodlum. But instead, we're 2-3-1 because our defense sucks and these players are not well coached. Moving that. Can't take it anymore, man. We have to fire Eberflus today. Yes, there's not a doubt. Dude, Eberflus has got to go. There's no reason for Eberflus to be the defensive coordinator more. This is the worst defense, Rogex, that I have seen maybe ever. Ever. This is worse than the 2013 defense that we had that lost the game, giving up 51 points to the Denver Broncos. This is worse than the defense in 2020 with Mike Nolan. This is the worst Cowboys defense I've ever seen. And the sad thing is, while we don't have the most talent defensively, we have enough talent to be better than this. We could be, with the talent we got, we could be a top 25 defense, which is still not good. That's still bad, but we could be a top 25 defense, man. Easily. Big Zimmer to come back. Yeah, dude. Mike Zimmer would be better than Matt Eberflus. I would take him over Matt Eberflus. His defense, if we had Mike Zimmer's defense from last year, this year, the Cowboys would be 4-2, 5-1, easily. Dak, the best quarterback in the league, but y'all defense is laughable, though. I wouldn't say Dak is the best quarterback in the league, but he's playing very well. He's playing very good this season. And he's not the reason why the Cowboys are 2-3-1. That goes back to Matt Eberflus 100%, man. It really does. I mean, you c- the offense has played good in just about every game this year, except for I would say the Eagles game. They played okay. They didn't play great, and then they played bad in the Bears game. But other than that, the offense has actually stepped up. They've done their job. When your offense is scoring like 30 points a game, the Cowboys should be right up there with the best of the NFL. But they're not. Why are they not up there? Because the defense sucks. If the Cowboys even had a top 25 defense, we don't even have to be the best. We could be a bottom 10 defense. If we even had a bottom 10 defense right now, that's not 32nd. We'd be 4-2, 5-1 easily. But because the defense with Matt Eberflus has underperformed, they played terrible. The scheme has not gotten any better. The players have not stepped up. They look lost out there. It doesn't look good. And you can blame the players all you want, but good coaches like Dan Quinn, who I'm so sad we lost Dan Quinn. We're gonna have to play him next week, by the way. We're gonna I'm gonna say good luck to my team in that game. You know, he knew how to coach these players. That's why if it wasn't for Dan Quinn, the Cowboys would not have gone 12-5 between 2021 and 2023. That man was a good coach. He knew how to work with these players, and that's why these players looked a lot better under Dan Quinn. Even with Mike Zimmer, they didn't look nearly as good, but even with Mike Zimmer had them playing a lot better than this. This is a joke. This is the worst defense I've ever seen. I mean, you have to play like Madden level good offense to have a chance with this defense. That's how bad. What would we get? Like 2 stops, maybe 3? That's pathetic. It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic. Um, Commanders will probably win the NFC East. I'd agree. Right now, if I had to say who has the best chance, I personally think the NFC East is wide open. I think any team could win it. And yes, I do mean the Giants. And I'm not going to say us because our defense sucks. Our defense is gonna keep us from that. But I would agree. I'd probably say Commanders probably have the best chance right now. I think they're the most talented team. But honestly, I still feel like this division's wide open, man. Anybody could win this division this year. Who would we replace Eberflus with? All I can think of is Zimmer. I mean, I'd take Mike Zimmer at this point. It would make the most sense, Rogex, because you got to think. I don't want anybody from this coaching staff because this coaching staff has not done a good job, especially the secondary linebackers coaches. They've sucked. So Zimmer would probably make the most sense if the Cowboys were, if he even wants to come back. 'Cause you got to think, Mike Zimmer is 69 years old, right? So is he going to be wanting to come back? I mean, he left because he retired this last year. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but Zimmer would probably make the most sense based on the personnel you got and based on familiarity. That's probably the only because you're not going to get Dan Quinn, obviously. You're not going to get Joe Witt, obviously. I mean, Al Harris ain't going nowhere because he's with the Bears. So Zim was probably the best option for right now. But I would fire everybody on the defensive staff. I'd get rid of Facts Only Sports, a big country, went live today on his show on his channel talking about he would fire everybody. He was showing like, Matt Eberflus and all those guys. And I saw Darian Thompson was on that staff. And he got mad. I was like, yeah, dude, why is Darian Thompson, who sucked as a player, coaching our team? Yeah, I would fire everybody on the defensive staff, man. That defensive coaching staff has not done a good job, and they are the reason why the Dallas Cowboys are 2, 3, and 1 right now. Those players and those coaches. If we even had a bottom 10 defense, we would be 4-2. We'd been right there with everybody else. Hoodlum. Everybody looks lost, man. Yeah, man. It goes back to the players, Hoodlum, but it goes back to the scheme. And it also goes back to the coaching. If you have good coaches like Dan Quinn, these players look just fine when he was out there. Why? Because Dan Quinn's a good coach. They looked lost, but they looked at least a little bit better with Mike Zimmer. Why? Mike Zimmer's a good coach. He's just old school. Um, with the defense this bad, the offense has to play perfect. Yeah, it's just hard to win. Bring in Robert Saleh from San Francisco. Why would he want to leave San Francisco, man? He's the DC over there. And San Francisco's 4-2 right now. You know, he's not going to want to come over here. We had our chance. We had our chance with him as head coach. I'm glad we didn't choose him, but um, you know, it is what it is, man. But yeah, Fan Nation. I just wanted to make this live real quick. Um, the Cowboys' biggest problem is not the talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Man, if we even had if the Dallas Cowboys even just had a bottom 10 defense, and this is pretty sad. If we even had a bottom 10 defense, bend don't break, we'd be 4-2. We'd be 5-1. We should have won this game, but our defense sucks. We should have beaten the Packers, but our defense blew it. We lost that Eagles game because the offense turned the ball over. We would be 4-2. You can't argue. I mean, people can say that it's delusional, but it's not. It's really not. I mean, have you seen this defense play? I mean, my goodness, if the defense was even top 25 in the NFL, the Cowboys would be 4-2. We would have beaten the Packers and we would have beaten the Carolina Panthers. We'd be 4-2. We'd be right in the mix with everybody else. Because the defense is bad, because the coaching is bad, we don't got that. What's up, Mike Trades? What's going on, brother? They may keep Eberflus just because nobody else is available right now, which sucks. Rogue X, man, I know that. I get it from a logical standpoint, but if I were to, if I were close to Jerry Jones, I would tell him, Jerry, Brian Schottenheimer, I know this is all you got, but what's firing going to do? You're already the worst defense in the NFL. You're the worst. You're bottom of the league. There's nowhere else to go but up from here. I mean, that's the facts. So I would just fire him. If you gotta bring back Mike Zimmer as, Rogue X mentioned, do it. I don't think Mike Zimmer is gonna be an all-world defense, but his defense can at least be serviceable, or can at least be better than this, because this defense sucks. It sucks on another level. I think defense-wise, our defense needs dogs. Yeah, we just nobody on the defense has that mentality, man, you know? We got some talent. The problem with this team is not the talent, as I said. The problem with this team goes back to the coaching. It goes back to the players not doing their jobs also, but a lot of it goes back to the coaches not doing their jobs. Eberflus has not done a good job. You know, he's never had a great secondary in his entire career as a defensive coordinator. These secondary coaches, these defensive line coaches, these linebacker coaches, they're not done their jobs. And if I were the Cowboys, it's sad. The Cowboys could easily, with the talent they have, be right there. If the defense was even just a little better, if we were bottom 10, which is still pathetic, bad. I've said it multiple times. Even if we were bottom 10, we would be 4-2. We would have beaten Green Bay. We would have won today's game against Carolina if we even had a bottom 10 defense. But because our defense is the worst and they suck on another level, here we sit 2, 3, and 1. And I'm going to end it with this. Until the defense gets their head out of their rear and decides to play some real football, or until Jerry Jones decides to make the change to fire Matt Eberflus, bring in somebody else, at least temporarily, that can do better than this, it's going to be a long season. We can have the greatest offense on the planet. But when your defense can't even get a stop, when your defense is so pathetic that you're giving up 9, 10, 11-yard runs per carry against Carolina, and I don't think Carolina is a bad team, but Carolina is not like a great team. They're an average team, in my honest opinion. When you're getting killed like that against a team like Carolina, that's not great, you're gonna have a hard time winning football games. Because the Cowboys offense, for the most part, has to play perfect. And they pretty much, for the most part, have played perfect almost. Almost. Nobody's perfect. But when you have to do that just to win a football game, it's hard to win football games. And again, until Matt Eberflus, tell this coaching staff, tell Jerry Jones, somebody decides to either do better, which at this point we're 6 games in, don't think it's going to get any better, or Jerry Jones, one of these guys, decides to make a change, whether it be with personnel, bringing up somebody else, or fire the coach. It's going to be the same thing every week. It's going to be sucking. It's going to be terrible. That's all I got to say. I'm really disappointed. This team could be right there in the mix with everybody else if they just had a little bit better coaching on the defensive side of the ball, a little bit better play. But because the coaching sucks, because the defense is playing like garbage, here we sit 2, 3, and 1, and we could be 4-2, 5-1. That's all I got to say.